Drop by any time.
At least the heat in Retem is dry. It's all sticky and yucky here. You always put on a brave face, but aren't you hot? Oh, really? You seem to be just fine in Retem and Kavaris. I mean, it's nice that we get to travel to so many different places, but Glenn and his troops have been living here a long time now. Of course, the dolls here are tough too, but the biggest battle is against the heat. Even after a tough fight, they can't even rest and recover when it's this hot all the time. It's really like they're just fighting non-stop. It'd be nice if they could at least take it easy while they're at the camp. I guess they probably don't need our help, but still. Do you think there's anything we can do for them? Something to lift their spirits. Like what? Oh, what about if I make some food for them again? Would that work? They're always eating that hard bread, but I'm sure a good meal once in a while too. Yeah, that might work. Thanks for the advice. I better start gathering up some ingredients then. Let's see. Last time, I made something hot because they were physically and mentally exhausted. But this time, I think something cool and refreshing is in order. I could probably put Kavaris fruits and vegetables to good use. I think I have an idea. Off to find ingredients.
Drop by anytime.
Oh, I didn't know you were here. No, I don't really need to right now. It looks like the Ark's defenders here are busy, as usual. At least their staffing and supply situation seems to be a little better. But now that they're operating deep within Stia, I'm sure their responsibilities have increased. And yet, I haven't heard a single complaint from anyone. Each and every one of them has an important role to play, and that keeps their spirits up. I've seen all of this somewhere before. Yeah. Town used to handle the defense of all outlying areas by itself. It was responsible for the entire area on the other side of the mountain from Central City. And, as you know, we did it all with very few Ark's defenders. It was hard enough just to patrol that area, let alone maintain equipment and prepare food. They gave it their all every day. And on top of that, they never knew when dolls might attack. Sometimes, they would be up all night defending against a sudden assault. And yet none of them ever complained or felt sorry for themselves. In fact, it seemed like they enjoyed life to the fullest. I didn't realize it at the time, but they were all so focused on playing their respective parts. And that's why they were able to give their all to everything they did. They never lost sight of their dream for a peaceful world. Now we're the ones who have to carry that torch. I was reminded of that responsibility just now, while looking at the Stia camp. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go on for so long. So much has happened. Sometimes I overthink everything. What we've been through, and what we will go through. I still need to process all these feelings. I'll see you later.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Who's there? Oh, it's you. No, I'm fine. You know, I'm reminded of it every time I come here. That battle with Neil's Stia. And I think of that Ark's defender who sacrificed his life. Protecting someone like me. It's not fair. His part? By protecting us? But he had his own life, too. His own dreams. His own hopes. Just like all of us. And I took all of that away from him. Forever.
Excuse me. I can't get behind that line of thinking.
Kanui?
Forgive me. I overheard you talking. Will you allow me to explain some things about us? We have a simple rule. Never leave it. In battle, it's not the enemy that you need to fear the most. It's the loss of trust between squad mates. It's having to wonder if you'll be left behind if you get cut off or wounded in battle. That kind of fear will hang over your head. This rule of ours is meant to eliminate that fear. We all know that we've got each other's backs. And that allows us to perform our duties free from worry. The defender who died protecting you was only following that rule. He refused to leave you behind. Because of that, more lives would be saved as a result. I'm sure that's what he believed. And that is indeed how things turned out.
That's only because I was overcome by rage.
What counts in battle is the result. Protocol is important too, but how many enemies we kill and how many of us survive. That's what really counts at the end of the day. If our losses are heavy, it's Commander Glenn who shoulders that responsibility. And me, as adjutant. So, he was only doing his duty. That's why I want you to hold your head up. Please.
Kanui.
I have nothing more to say on the matter.
Thank you.
I hope this was not presumptuous of me. Now, I must return to my duties.
Working through my feelings is not an easy task, but Conway is right. I need to hold my head up so I can move forward. I have to carry the torch. For the Ark's defender who gave his life for me, too.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
I didn't know you were back in Alio. I hear you completed your assignment in Stia. Yes, that was a surprise. I never would have expected Crawford to strike out for Steel like that. Neil Steele was Crawford and Glenn's most hated enemy. At first, Crawford said he would let Glenn handle it. But the truth is that he really wanted to settle that old score by Glenn's side. Fortunately, Dahl's activity in Alio at the time was minimal. It was an opportunity that might have never come again. That's why I didn't hesitate to give my blessing to his decision. I'm glad the three of them were finally able to close that chapter of their battle. Crawford, Glenn, and Hibana. So, you knew about Hibana. Hibana and Glenn were close for a long time. She was always the type who wore her heart right on her sleeve. I'm not saying they were the same, but her straightforwardness was a lot like Ina's. When Glenn and Hibana met Crawford, the three of them started working together. Crawford and Glenn's relationship is still more or less the same as it always was. They've always gotten into it over differences of opinion. And it was always Hibana who would step in to mediate things. She had a knack for finding the compromise and getting them to shake on it. And she was really intuitive. She would just sort of throw a plan together, and somehow, it almost always worked out. Which is the exact opposite of Crawford's unrelenting rationality, of course. Yet, they always seemed to get along. All three of them had very different personalities, but they just seemed to mesh with each other. Their teamwork in battle was especially impressive. Glenn would take the front, Crawford brought up the rear, and Hibana would float between them. And the three of them would just chew through the toughest dolls like that. It was a foregone conclusion that those three would one day lead Alio. But then, Hibana's death created a big void. Without her, Crawford and Glenn set off on separate paths that they each thought was best. Now that the score's been settled with Neil Stia, hopefully, that void can finally be filled. Looks like there's some trouble. I think I better get going. We'll finish this chat some other time. Until then.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Ah, it's you. I have heard of your deeds throughout the land. You've even taken the fight to Stia. I suppose so. We only attained victory ourselves after joining forces with you. No one can take on the doll's threat all alone. So, is it true that several dolls' facilities have been discovered in Stia? I hear that there is a plant among them that is quite similar to the lower level of Maquad, and that they found dolls' manufacturing equipment inside. I had presumed that dolls are born naturally, like other living organisms. I guess that is not the case. So someone created the dolls? Who? When and why? I have so many questions, but I am a warrior, not a researcher. I'll leave that to Crawford. I've given the order for Retem Arcs to prepare for a new battle. Our wounds from the battle with Renus Retem have healed, and we are reorganizing our forces. We cannot simply maintain a defensive posture in the face of this new unknown. We will mobilize for war. We must also consider how to coordinate with Kavaris and Stia, in addition to Aelio. Then, we had better not let them show us up. People's thinking is beginning to change here lately. We may be able to join forces with those who think differently, while still honoring our treasured Retem traditions. We must not fear the change that will inevitably come with that. We must welcome any and all talent without prejudice. I've learned through my own experience that this is necessary in order to deal with so many threats. We still have many battles ahead of us. If we want peace, it is the only way. I hope you will continue to fight by our side.
by any time.
Oh, it's you! I heard the news. You went to Stia. I hear it's a really severe place. They say it's just endless fighting with hordes of dolls under a sunless sky. Well, you don't look any worse for wear, but what about the other two? What? Is everything okay? Well, I'm glad to hear that. I was worried because I hadn't heard anything for a while. I'm just happy to see that you seem to be doing fine. If you ever need anything, you can count on us. I told you, right? We'll support you in any way we can. Yes, please do. It's been a while since I talked to the two of them. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you about what's been going on here. According to Ilma, he's been making progress on his investigation of Lost Central. And Aleo Ark's defenders are really pitching in, too. I also hear that Ark's defenders from Retem are showing their faces lately. And not just to fight, they're helping out with research as well. Grandpa used to always say Retem Ark's defenders only care about fighting prowess. But I guess things have changed a lot since then. Ilma is in Grandpa's study, organizing the data found at the site. He is thoroughly checking the data that Grandpa left for us. But there haven't been any more messages from Grandpa since that one time. We were hoping we might be able to find more clues in Lost Central, but... True. We've barely scratched the surface of the snow. We'll just keep going, slow and steady. With both Kavaris' renewal and looking for Grandpa's clues. I'll contact you if we discover anything. We might even need to ask for your help. Of course, there would be something in it for you too. Take care!
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Huh? Oh, it's you. I thought you were an enemy. I've already caused everyone quite a bit of trouble by being careless around enemies. Everyone is working so hard, and I'm just off searching for shiny minerals. But enough about that, I guess. Just clearing my head a little. Being cooped up inside all the time makes my brain start to feel sluggish. I've been thinking about Central Canon a lot lately. We modified Aelio's Central Canon based on the lost Central Canon data that we found. They share some uncanny similarities. Their photon generator values and their capacitor unit photon charge rates, for example. I mean, the specs are pretty different, but the basic construction is the same. That's why the lost Central Canon data helped us fix our problems with the Aelio Canon. Which means these Central Canons were designed with some level of mass producibility in mind. Lost Central and Central City share a lot of similarities to begin with, both aesthetically and in terms of city design. Basically, Central City was built using Lost Central as a template. So it makes sense that they're similar, but that template wasn't designed by us. We just repurposed what was already there to use as Central City's infrastructure. All we really did was gather materials and build on top of the template that someone else created. You know, a huge container was found underneath Ritem City the other day. Know what was in there? Central Canon parts. And they were nearly identical to the Aelio and Kavaris Canon parts. I mean, you see how Ritem City is now, but I can't help but wonder if the original plan was to make it like Central City. No, I don't mean that. I mean, someone other than the current inhabitants of Halpha. Someone who simply vanished, leaving massive structures all over Halpha. There's no doubt that these mysterious people existed, but we haven't been in a place to explore that mystery until now. With this new discovery, though, I think the time has come to get serious about figuring it out. What were they doing here on Halpha? And what happened to them? I have the feeling that we will need to know that information going forward. There's no guarantee that something worse than Dark Falls won't show up in the future. We need to know as much as we can in order to handle a wide range of possibilities. That's what I think. Oh, I'm sorry. There I go again on another one of my monologues. Once I get some things figured out, I'll try to explain a little more clearly. Well, the first thing to do is to try to find some leads. I'll be working on this together with Crawford and the Aelio research team. I'd like to include Ritem as well. Talking to you always helps clear my head for some reason. Thank you so much for listening. Time to head back to the lodge and start putting some ideas on paper. Take care.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Oh, it's you. Nope. Just out on patrol. There's nothing strange about a commander taking his turn at watch duty. Even if Kanui doesn't like it. Supplies have been getting through to us from Aelio a lot more easily. But we're still short-handed against all these enemies. The fatigue will start to build up. I figure if I've got the energy for it, it makes no sense for me to sit around in a chair all day. That's all there is to it. I'm not. Well, Central didn't. Crawford didn't want me coming here, but I came anyway. The people at this camp are all here because they agree with my vision. I didn't even ask. They all volunteered. Quite a few of them even left behind family in Aelio. They threw away everything they had to follow me on this crazy mission. I don't intend to just throw them away. They need to be well rested, give everything they've got to fighting. It's really the least I can do for them. I rest when I can. Well, I need to get back to it. I still have a little way to patrol. I doubt we'll have any problem with the enemies around here. But don't get careless. You never know when dolls might appear. I'm not interested in seeing your name on a memorial anytime soon.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Yuha, did you come all the way here by yourself? Pretty confident. Anyway, this place reminds me of the battle that day. What did Crawford come here for? He just showed up wreaked havoc, and left. With who? I guess you mean me. You know, you throw me off my rhythm somehow. I can't figure you out. But it doesn't matter. I'll tell you about our past. Crawford and I, we used to fight together. But then, we had a falling out or something. Hanui already told you, right? Yeah. We decided to go our separate ways after Hibana died. Crawford stayed in Central, and I chose to come here to fight. We understood dividing our efforts like that wasn't exactly sustainable. But we couldn't stop each other. Just playing defense doesn't solve the problem. But not having anywhere to go home to after solving the problem makes no sense either. We had no choice but to do our best with the situation that we had. Troops, weapons, and other supplies. All just gradually dwindled. I really don't know where we'd be right now if you three hadn't shown up when you did. I'm sure Crawford and I will have a chance to hash it all out someday. But not right now. Because our battle still isn't completely over yet. That was long-winded, but I gotta get going.
Hi. Drop by anytime.
Oh, hey. It's you. How perfect. We were just looking for you. That's right. We're here seeking treatment for the wounded at the medical bay. Once we complete that, we have but to await their recovery. Wasn't there something you wished to discuss, Commander?
Yeah. There was. You, really helped us out the other day.
Wasn't there more?
We've had a lot of ups and downs during this campaign. We found ourselves constantly wounded and lacking supplies. Even after years of fighting, we hadn't made it to the interior of Stia. Before you three arrived, I was even considering withdrawing from the region. But my troops' morale was still high. I planned on one last offensive before they finally burned out. And then, you three showed up. I had heard rumors. You saved Ratem, and even survived a Dark Falls attack. Then, you even paved the way for the reconstruction of Kavaris. I was skeptical, but I didn't have any other options. So I figured I'd try my luck with the three of you. And we all know how that turned out. Although the battle still isn't over, I need to say this. Thank you.
Yes, I owe you my thanks as well.
It sure is. We haven't secured the entire Styr region yet. And the Doll's plant is still operational. We still have a lot of work to do. Conaway.
Sir.
I'm going to head back now. You oversee the treatment of our wounded and meet me there.
Yes, sir. Shocking. The commander almost never gives thanks to anyone. He does express gratitude sometimes, but I don't think I've ever heard him actually say the words, thank you. I suppose that demonstrates how much respect he has for you. Well, I'd better get going now. Let's meet again, soon.